Mike, I need to break some news to you. You, my friend, are a millennial.
Well, technically, so are you, my older friend.
You know, I really wish you wouldn't put labels on me.
Well, I am a millennial, and so are you. And I know this because you have sent me selfies, and that apparently is all it takes. But thankfully, none of these selfies have yet been deadly.
Yet? That's
Yes.
worrisome.
Well, as we're going to find out today, there is ample chance for a selfie to be deadly.
Yeah. So we all know that using a phone while driving is incredibly dangerous.
So dangerous, in fact, that the United States Department of Transportation estimated that during 2014 in the US, some 33,000 people were injured while driving and using a mobile phone.
Now, the same year, 2014, was named the year of the selfie by Twitter. And unfortunately, some of those killed in car accidents were actually taking photos of themselves.
And, well, today we have a whole list of ways people have been killed taking selfies.
But before we get to that, let's talk a little bit about the selfie itself.
The idea of a selfie dates all the way back to 1839 when Robert Cornelius produced a daguerreotype of himself. Now, I had to look up what a daguerreotype was, also to understand how to say that word. This was an early photographic process that employed the use of an iodine-sensitized silvered plate and mercury vapor. The process took so long to take these photos, if you would call them that, he had time to uncover the lens of the camera, stand in front of it for over 60 seconds while it was taking its exposure, then cover the lens back up at the end of it.
That is old school cool.
That is ultimate hipster, my friend. In 1900, self-portraits became more mainstream with the debut of the portable Kodak Brownie box camera.
This basic cardboard camera allowed users to produce square images on roll film.
The Brownie line was a massive success and helped democratize photography in a super real way.
As you might imagine, people began taking photos of themselves by using a mirror and stabilizing the camera on something like a nearby object or even a tripod, while framing via the viewfinder at the top of the box.
Grand Duchess Anastasia Nikolaevna of Russia, at the age of 13, was one of the first teenagers to employ this method to take her own picture using a mirror to send to a friend back in 1914.
Now, she really deserves her whole own episode at some point in the future, but in a letter with the photo she wrote, "I took this picture of myself looking at the mirror. It was very hard as my hands were trembling."
In the 1970s, the rise of instant cameras made the act of the selfie even more common, with their immediate results ready to share after just a few shakes. Although you technically shouldn't shake them, right? That's the thing.
Oh,
you
is
shouldn't
it?
shake them. Yeah, you shouldn't shake them.
Well, good consumer advice here on Ungenius.
If you're still using Polaroid, then don't shake them.
Don't shake them. While the act is old, the word selfie is relatively new. According to researchers, it first appeared on an Australian social website in September of 2002. A user named Nathan Hope wrote this caption to a photo of his swollen face. I'm going to read this now. I'm not going to do the accent because I'm terrible at accents, but...
Please try.
Drunk at mate's 21st. I tripped over and landed lip first, with front teeth coming a very close second on a set of steps. I had a hole about 1 centimeter long right through my bottom lip. Sorry about the focus. It was a selfie.
I feel bad for Nathan, really, because this is how he's committed to history with this quote.
Yeah,
you know?
He got drunk and fell over.
Yeah, it's just not a good way to be put in the history books.
No. Hope maybe realizes this, and he has dismissed the notion that he coined the term, describing it as something that was just common slang at the time, used to describe a picture of yourself. In the time since, the popularity of the selfie has exploded, especially with the rise of smartphones.
While they're common today, we have the Sony Ericsson Z1010 or Z1010 mobile phone to thank for the front-facing camera, which debuted in 2003, making it way easier to take a picture of yourself. In 2011, a monkey pressed a trigger on a wildlife photographer's camera set up in an Indonesian jungle for that specific purpose. When the camera was later recovered, it was found to contain hundreds of selfies of monkeys, including one of a grinning female.
That's great. This incident set off an unusual debate about copyright. In 2016, a federal judge ruled that the monkey cannot own the copyright to its own images. So there's that.
It is worth noting that the monkey wasn't asking for them either. It's not that weird of a story.
Monkey lawyer.
Yeah, monkey lawyer. And then in 2012, Time magazine called selfie one of the top 10 buzzwords of the year.
According to a 2013 survey, 2/3 of Australian women ages 18 to 35 reported that they took selfies, and the most common purpose for the photos was posting them to Facebook.
A poll commissioned by smartphone and camera maker Samsung found that selfies make up 30% of the photos taken by people aged 18 to 24.
Selfies, Mike, have even made it to space. Astronauts on the International Space Station have taken them, and NASA has published numerous photos of its Curiosity rover on Mars taken by the rover itself.
In January 2014, during the Sochi Winter Olympics, a Selfie Olympics meme was popular on Twitter, where users took self-portraits in unusual situations.
There's no doubt that the selfie has become a powerful tool of self-expression. But as with all things, it has also brought tragedy into the world. And we'll talk more about that after the break.
We'd like to thank FreshBooks for their continued support of Ungenius. FreshBooks is built to work the way you do and helps empower those of us who work online to get their invoicing done quickly. Every time you log into FreshBooks, you'll see what needs your attention. It's beautifully designed with the focus on helping you run your business. All of the invoices you send out are going to be super quick to send, and you can integrate a myriad of payment solutions so you can get paid quickly. Find out more and try out FreshBooks for 30 days for free by going to freshbooks.com/ungenius. And when you get presented with the How You Heard About Us section, so how did you hear about FreshBooks, they will ask you, please tell them that you heard about them on Ungenius. Thank you to FreshBooks for their support.
So, let's talk about Delphis. Delphis?
Nope.
Delphis.
No, it's just selfies.
Deadly selfies.
Mm-hmm.
One of the first cases of a death being linked to a selfie took place, according to Wikipedia, in December 2013. A group of 6 teenagers posed for a selfie in Beirut. In the background, a car can be seen pulling up behind them. The car exploded as part of a terrorist attack, killing one of the teenagers.
Well, that is quite a start. Moving on, some people have actually been killed while just trying to take a selfie in an unusual place. In March 2014, a 21-year-old Spanish man died from electrocution after climbing on top of a train to take a selfie with friends, and then he touched a live wire.
A month later in the U.S., a woman was killed when her vehicle veered across the center median, collided with a recycling truck, left the road, hit a tree, and burst into flames, moments after she had posted a selfie online.
In May 2014, officials say that a 15-year-old boy was killed by a speeding train while posing for a selfie on the tracks.
A 16-year-old girl died in Italy after plunging 60 feet onto rocks while she was trying to take a photograph of herself on the seafront.
In a very similar case, a high school student in the Philippines fell to her death after losing her balance while taking a selfie with a friend near a staircase landing.
The country saw another tragedy in August 2014 when a 15-year-old boy was fatally wounded after accidentally shooting himself while taking a selfie in which the other hand was holding a gun to his chin.
A similar case also took place in Mexico in that year.
Man. In January 2015, 2 young men in Russia pulled the pin from a live hand grenade to take a selfie with it.
Nope.
The phone with the picture remained as evidence of the circumstance of their deaths.
This is not a fun list.
No,
I
it's
feel
not.
like many of the previous list episodes that we've done, like there was an unusual deaths episode, right? Like that was kind of funny in its own macabre way.
This is not.
This one is not funny. A 68-year-old Belgian woman was visiting the El Tachio geyser field located within the Andes Mountains of northern Chile. While attempting to take a selfie in front of an active geyser, she stepped backwards, fell into scalding hot water, and later died from the burns.
In Turkey, 2 teenagers were killed after lying down in the middle of the road near an airport to take a selfie with planes landing in the background. It was at night and a truck driver did not see them and accidentally ran them over.
In February 2016, 5 people in Goa fell off a cliff and were injured after a gate that they were leaning on gave way during a group selfie.
A couple of months later, a Chinese businessman was visiting a wildlife park and was drowned by a walrus after taking several selfies and videos with the animal. A zookeeper was also drowned in the same incident after attempting to save the man.
But wait! Good news. Here is a non-fatal incident. A 20-year-old Canadian tourist fell from a 256 feet high viewpoint in the Plitvice Lakes National Park in Croatia while trying to take a selfie. His fall was broken by tree branches and he survived with some injuries. It was the park's second selfie accident in that year.
Jeez.
They're very lucky. Incredibly lucky.
Yeah, no kidding. On July 12th, 2016, in southern Nepal, a truck driver stopped for a wild herd of 21 elephants to cross the road. The driver exited his vehicle to take a selfie with the animals. The herd then attacked and killed the man.
I don't know why you would do that.
A bad decision.
Why would you get out? There's 21 of them.
I don't know.
I can't understand that. It is also worth noting, this isn't all of them, right? Like, we just picked like a selection of some of the things that happened. There's way more than this.
There's like 30% of what's on the Wikipedia page.
One day later in Vietnam, so on July 13th, 2016, 2 men were killed by a train while taking a selfie on the tracks. Bystanders tried to shout warnings at the men, but they could not hear them because they were wearing headphones.
That fall, 2 Sri Lankan girls were taking selfies near the top of a deep spring. One girl slipped into the spring and grabbed the hand of the other. She was unable to pull her companion out and was dragged down into the water where both the girls drowned.
At the end of 2016, a 12-year-old Russian schoolgirl climbed over a balcony on the 17th floor of a building and fell.
Let's talk about 2017.
Are we not done yet?
Almost.
Please, can we be done?
On January 6th of this year, 2 men in Croatia climbed atop a train.
There's a lot of train-related selfie injuries.
Trains are really dangerous.
Yeah.
So they climbed atop a train where they wanted to take a selfie. A 20-year-old was killed, and his 19-year-old friend is still in serious condition because of second- and third-degree burns on more than 70% of his body. They, like our friend earlier, were electrocuted with a shock of 25,000 volts.
Later that month, 2 teenagers were crushed under a train, of course, while posing between 2 railway tracks in Delhi while trying to capture, quote, daring selfies.
In February 2017, 4 women were taking selfies on a rock in a river in New Zealand. They ignored warning signs signaling that a dam was about to be opened upstream. A 21-year-old university student was swept away to her death by the torrential water.
Ladies and gentlemen of the Ungenius audience, please be aware of your surroundings when taking selfies, and don't take any selfies near trains. Don't get on top of trains. Don't go on railway tracks. Let this horrific list be a lesson to you all.
Trains are incredibly dangerous.
Yes.
Stay away.
Stay away.
Stay away. I would like to thank, I don't know even if that's the right word.
I would like to acknowledge Mitch for sending this in. Mitch, you have been acknowledged.
Several other people sent this. Mitch is getting credit because he was first, but this was a heck of a thing. And like we said, it's only a small percentage of what's on the Wikipedia page. You can find a link to that page and some other links in the show notes. This week they can be found online at relay.fm/ungeniust/22. There's a contact link there. You can find the show on Twitter at Ungeniust. Mike is IMYKE on Twitter, and you can find me there as ISMH. And until our next word article, Mike, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Adios.